Java, interfaces. Let's talk about interfaces in Java. And basically what interfaces are a formalized process of having our program communicate to the world. Okay, I was looking through a bunch of documentation here and I saw a great quote from the Oracle site. So I'm just going to go ahead and read the quote to you there because I think it perfectly describes the functionality of what an interface does. So here goes. There are a number of situations in software engineering when it's important for disparate groups of programmers to agree to a contract that spells out how their software interacts. Each group should be able to write their code without any knowledge of how the other group's code is written. Generally speaking, interfaces are such contracts. I thought this was just a perfect explanation here of what an interface does. So it's that formalized process of allowing us to have a means for other programs, other parts of our programs, or the third party programs, or anything out on the world to interface with our code. So let's sort of step through what an interface actually is. So let's start off here. I've got an interface here for a circumference. So let's take a look what happens here. Basically, we're going to set this up as public. And instead of using the word class, we're going to use interface. Okay? And we give it a name. And basically what we can do here is we can write different functions names right here in the interface. So my interfaces here are quite simple. They just have one little function that's going to go on. But what I want to point out to you is this. Okay? They're exactly like we write the first line of our function. So we have our public, we have a data type, our function name, and as for a circumference here for a four-sided object, okay, I need four sides. So we have side 1, side 2, side 3, and side 4. Now you'll notice right here, look right here, right there, ends in a semicolon. Okay, ends in a semicolon. So basically what we're doing is we're just writing that first line of the function. Okay, you will notice there are no braces. Okay, there are no braces. Okay, so we're not actually writing the code here. Okay, we're going to need to write that code someplace else. Now I also want to point one more thing out on here. You cannot instantiate an interface. Okay, so you cannot use like new I circumference. Okay, so you can't use new with this. Okay, you can't instantiate it. It has to be inherited. Okay, we have to bring it into a class. Okay, so the class is where we're actually going to write the guts of all of these functions. Okay, but this is going to be our public means through the interface. So we're going to say, hey, we've got this public function out here called circumference that the world can use. All right, so let's just sort of step through these other ones I've got here. So I have here one here for a rectangle. Once again, it's going to be public. We're using the keyword here. Interface, we're going to give it our name. And look what I'm doing right here. Extends. Okay, I'm extending I circumference. So I can bring in another interface. Okay, I can inherit another interface. So right here is my function name right here. Notice there are no braces. Okay, but this is my function name. So I need a height and width. I've got one here for square. Once again, pointing it out here, we have public interface. Okay, so I'm going to need the area of a square. Basically, I just need one side. I have one here for a trapezoid. Once again here, we have the public interface, trapezoid, short side, long side, height. Could I have wrapped all of these in one interface? Yes, I could have. Okay, but I just wanted to demonstrate the point here for what I'm going to show you here coming up right next here. Four sides. So I've got an interface here called four sides, but I want to show you what's going on with this. This is pretty cool here. So we have public interface. Okay, here's the name of my interface. Extends, but you notice unlike the rectangle one we did here, look what I'm bringing in. I'm bringing in the circumference, I'm bringing in the rectangle, I'm bringing in the square, and I'm bringing in the trapezoid. Okay, so a class, okay, can only bring in and inherit, extend one other class, but interfaces, okay, they can bring in multiple. Okay, so I can bring in multiple different interfaces into one. Okay, so I can extend that out and bring in a lot of functionality in this. Like I said, could I have written all four of these into one interface? Yes, I could have. But I want to demonstrate it to the point here that I can bring in multiple ones, okay, into an interface. So this has just one little simple little function. We're just checking to see here if it has four sides. Now you notice nowhere, okay, nowhere have we written any actual code for these functions. Okay, so where does that happen? That has to take place in a class. Okay, so we write the guts to our functions in a class. So let's do that. And I have one up here. Let's go ahead and make him a little bigger here. Here's my class. So I've got a public class. Okay, public class. Now look here. Here's how I'm going to bring in my interfaces right here. Implements. Okay. So that was this last interface here that had all of these other interfaces rolled into one. Okay. So I'm implementing that interface here. So let's just sort of walk the code here real quick. You'll notice here, here's the exact same function name, and here I'm writing, here's my braces for those, and I'm writing that function. So basically we're getting a Boolean value in, and we're just displaying whether it has four sides, true or false. Here we're actually calculating the circumference. Okay, notice it's the function name with the braces. Okay, adding up the sides, displaying the results. Here's the area of a rectangle, okay, which is the same function that had the name in here. Once again, we're calculating the area, displaying the results. Here is the function name for area of a square, which was listed in here. Okay, calculating the area, displaying the results. And then our last one here, area of a trapezoid. Okay, so here's our function name, which was listed in here, and we're calculating the area and displaying the results. Okay, so what I just want to reiterate here is the fact that you write, okay, you write the code, okay, so you write the code for the functions in a class. Okay, so you can list the function names in the interface, okay, but you're going to write that code in the class. So you're going to write it in the class. All right, let's see it in action. So we'll go out here to the actual main. So here's our static void main. Okay, so here's our class, 4 sides. Here's our object. Okay, so it actually pops out here where we have, we'll supply it with true. We'll supply it with our 4 different sides. Here's our arguments for our area of a rectangle. Here's our one for our area of a square. Here's our one for our area of a trapezoid. And if you want to sort of see how those pop up on that, we can simply do, and as you can see in here, we have our different ones popping right up here in our drop down. And if we go ahead and we run this, okay, I'll make my output window here bigger. There it is. So just to reiterate here, an interface is our formalized mechanism of our formalized interface, our formalized mechanism of allowing other programs, other parts of programs, or third-party programs a means to interface and to interact with our program. And those are interfaces in Java.